Right then everyone, good evening. Welcome to the Ale Army, a long-awaited beast, a Q&A with Darren from VitrA. We're going to talk about the last three videos that we've done with them over the last few weeks. I'm going to be addressing your questions to Darren from VitrA, but you can also ask them in the comments while we're doing this live today, okay? Another few things that we're going to be doing as well, we're going to do a best question competition. Darren's going to choose that at the end of tonight's video. So we're going to be here for about 45 minutes to an hour, answering your questions that are in the video itself, but also answering your comments that are here as well. And also I'm going to probably put a few random ones to Darren as well. So ask whatever you like, guys, don't worry. We're going to be with you in a few minutes time. The countdown ticker's working right now. So get yourself a beer if that's your tipple. Have yourself a glass of water if you want, a cup of tea, glass of wine, gin and tonic, whiskey, whatever. Maybe not whiskey, it's a bit early for that. Maybe not whiskey yet. And also get yourself some snacky wax as well. We'll be with you in just a few minutes time, everyone. And Darren is waiting with bated breath for your questions as well. So we'll see you in a few seconds time. Have fun. Apologies for the music, everyone. This is what happens when you rely on Epidemic Sound for a bit of random tunes on a Thursday night. There we go. We've got 1 minute left, everyone, so make sure you've got yourselves nice and comfortable for a little sit-down chit-chat with Darren from VitrA. Make sure you've got some good questions as well. Remember, best question of the evening is going to win a VitrA goodie bag. Lucky you. Darren's going to choose it at the end. Whoever wins, we're just going to ask you to send us over an email to info@plumberparts.co.uk, and we'll be doing that in just about 46 seconds time. I can't wait. Hey everybody, how's it going? Back here for another beautiful Ale Army session. Hope you're looking forward to it, everybody. I am juggling things like a mad thing tonight. Really am. It is quite a mad old evening. So we've got Darren coming in from VitrA today. We're going to introduce him in a few minutes time. Thanks ever so much for everyone who's turning up here at the moment. We've got loads of comments coming through from all the guys. I'm just going to pop out your chat right now. For those people who are long-term lovers, and followers of the AL Army, you'll know exactly what to expect today. But we've obviously got a few new faces here because this is a live stream that goes to everybody. So it's great to see people like Glenn Lynch here, Tony Pybus, Dave Watts, obviously. Tony Pybus, you can tell, is actually an AL Army fan because he's got the icons next to his name. If you want to be part of these live streams every Thursday evening, then click on the old join live stream button. I think it's the join button below this video. I don't think you can do that on iPhone or Android. You have to do it on desktop. But there we go. So great to see a few of you here. Tony Pybus, who is a long-term fan, is here as well. You will know an AL Army person because they can use their emojis. Okay, that's what they can use in the chat bit. So tonight, I think we've done one or two of these before in the past. What we're going to do is we've got Darren sat on Zoom at the moment in the office. He's had a hell of a few days, so be easy with him. We're going to find out what he's been up to, and then on top of that, we've got loads and loads of your questions here. Absolutely reams of questions to go through. Okay, so before we do that, well, we're going to get Darren on now. So I'm going to ask Darren, if you're there, can you unmute yourself now, young man? I'm just going to unmute myself as well. But yeah, hopefully you can hear me okay, mate. It's going to be a bit of a funny old conversation. I don't know how this is quite going to work, whether you can see me well or not at the moment, but hopefully you can. So what we're going to do is we're going to move over to Darren now. Darren, how's it going? Can you see me? Is all well?
I'll see. Oh, there you pop in, James. There you go. Good evening to you, my friend. How are you?
I'm very well, mate. I'm very well. What we're going to do is we just bring the tunes down in the background a little bit because we don't need all that stuff in the background, do we, mate? No?
Nope.
So Darren, you look a little bit more fresh-faced than I expected you to be after the day, well, the couple of days you've had travelling up and down the country. What's been going on?
Yeah, it's a travelling, James. It's a travelling. But I have put the makeup on and done my hair just for you tonight.
Thank you very much, darling. Yeah, you look gorgeous. So you say you've been up and down from Wigan. Is that what you say you've been up to?
Yeah, I had a day in the London showroom yesterday because we opened up a brand new showroom in Clerkenwell actually a year ago, just a couple of days ago actually, which has gone extremely well for us. And then I decided to drive up to Wigan last night, which was a nice 6-hour drive. Albeit it was good fun because I had the radio on, so I was able to listen to the football last night, and then a 3 hours 40 drive back this afternoon just for this.
Well, that's very kind of you, mate. And I think all the people who are watching now, all the Plumber Parts fans who were there, people like Lennon Polo who's watching, Swal Idrisu, I think that's how you pronounce your name. Terry Charges here. Hopefully you don't charge too much, Terry. I'm sure we've heard that one before. But yeah, I'm noticing in the background of your Zoom thing, Darren, that it looks like the side of a football shirt. People can't quite see it. Just twist the camera towards it a bit. Is that oh yeah, I can see that now. Gascoigne. Paul Gascoigne. Is that the love of your life?
It was a birthday present for my sins, James, and I hope I don't get too much grief on here tonight. I'm a Spurs fan.
Oh dear.
Got it a couple of years ago, so it's 5 Paul Gascoigne shirts, and the programme from the '91 semi-final when we beat the Gooners 3-1.
See, I knew it'd have to be a Gooners top because I mean I'm a sort of partial football fan, but if I was to support someone, it would actually have to be Arsenal. I'm sorry to say this because my mum is a massive Spurs fan, so I'd just do it just to spite my mum. It'd really annoy her.
Just a river up.
But there we go. So Darren, you've never really been on the AL Army before. We do have a few rules that we all have to live by. And number one is if you don't have to have a beer, obviously, if you're sat in the office at the moment with your Gaza shirt, I don't know if they have beers over at VitrA HQ, whether that looks good or not.
Yeah, I know. I'm afraid not. If I'd have thought about it, I could have stopped in the services and grabbed something on the way back. But that looks a little bit dodgy when you've still got another 2 hours to drive buying a beer.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. Well, for those guys who've just got here, who've never been on the AL Army before, and also, we've got Tony Pybus, and there's a couple of people here who are sort of regulars on the AL Army. James Price is actually here. Before we continue, James had a bit of an accident, fell off some scaffolding a couple of weeks back, and was quite reasonably badly injured, weren't you, James? So I just want to sort of wish you well, mate, and hope you're doing okay there. But before we continue, I need to get myself a very small beer, because after this, Darren, I don't actually have to drive anywhere, because I'm at home already. Yeah. Lucky me.
Good for you.
Lucky
I'll
me.
be making for over the weekend, James. Don't worry. A nice long bank holiday weekend.
What have you got planned over the weekend then?
Well, nice. Tomorrow it's my daughter's birthday. which is nice. So there's 7 of us going for a brunch tomorrow, and then 6 o'clock tomorrow we're jumping on a bus because we live quite close to Oxford. So we're going to bus into Oxford to a nice Turkish restaurant, and then, according to my daughter, we're hitting the Cowley Road in Oxford tomorrow evening.
Okay, is your daughter called Eleanor?
She is. That's right.
I believe she's on the live stream right now.
Oh, is she? Oh, there she is. Yeah.
Hi, Dad. She said, "Oh, Dad." Oh, cool. Well, look,
don't embarrass me.
Yeah, don't swear, Eleanor. Or you, Darren. Don't swear either. Okay, well, look, I'm going to ring Emily up, my wife. This is something we do every week on the Owl Army. I've got a little radio here, so I can contact Emily directly from about the 20 or 30 metre long garden we've got here and ask her for tonight's beer. Emily, can you please bring up my beer? Thank you, my darling. And hopefully she'll say yes. Indeed. There we go. It's on its way. Oh.
You're a lucky man. I know what my wife would say if I said I was 30 metres away. Can you bring me another beer, please?
Well, surely she'd say, Darren, I worship the ground you walk on. I will bring you anything you like.
I can hope.
Well, I can see Emily coming up the garden right now. It looks like she's got a bottle of Proper Job, I think, and a small ramekin of nuts as well. So, lucky me. Get your own. That's what Eleanor Paxson said. Sorry, that's another thing you guys have to understand is that sometimes I just expleet or just shout out people's comments while they come up. Thank you very much, my darling. Thank you. So the whole point of this Q&A was for you guys, you Plumber Parts viewers, and some of you are going to be watching this live now, or some of you are going to catch up with it in a few, over the next few weeks or months, because this video is going to be live for you to watch on the channel, hopefully, if YouTube don't change anything between now and then. So what we wanted to do was get some questions in from you guys. We've done 3 videos with VitrA about the shower range that they've got out, and it's an absolutely you've all seen the videos anyway, and you know how great the product is already. You probably remember actually as well, we also did some videos on their bidets, and before we came on, actually, Darren, we were both wax lyricaling about how much we love bidets, weren't we? I'm a convert. I didn't used to be a bidet person. I'm now a convert. How about you?
It is, James. The Brits, we're very prudish when it comes to this sort of thing. But I think once you've used, a washlet toilet, a bidet toilet, whatever you want to call them, I think you're a convert from day one. Because, it just makes you feel cleaner, fresher, and actually it feels quite good as well. They're brilliant. Honestly, I can't wax lyrical enough about them.
Yeah, awesome. I definitely think my time on the toilet has slightly gone up because it's just pleasant. Deary me, weird thing to talk about. But you know what? It's a funny one because as a plumber, you're often, I don't think you're a salesman as much, but you're passionate about things that you kind of want to say to someone, look, please do this because this is actually the right thing to do. And sometimes that can come across as sort of being selly or whatever it may be, but that's not what it is at all. Like a friend of mine was talking about having a bidet installed, and they said, I just don't get it. Like, how you wash yourself on them and all that sort of thing. And I kind of said to him, I was like, well, you wash yourself in the shower, don't you? It's like that, but just, a mini shower.
It is. Honestly, you go across to the Far East, they're absolutely everywhere.
Yeah.
But, 50 years ago they weren't, and now every home has one. And I think we are heading towards that sort of direction, and it's good for the environment. I think you might have mentioned to me previously in another conversation, there's no need for any toilet paper anymore.
Exactly. I use loads less toilet paper. Still trying to convert Emily. She just forgets that it's up there. So I am putting another one in the downstairs loo. So if you guys who are watching now aren't subscribed to the channel, click the subscribe button because there's going to be a whole downstairs toilet video thing going on, which I'll probably have to film with GoPros because it is about 1 metre wide by 2 metres. It's your typical downstairs loo that's like a prison cell. So that'd be fun to film in.
But you mentioned something earlier, James. Actually, you mentioned something about being a plumber. You're not a salesman. I am the national sales manager for VitrA UK. But I'm a fully trained plumber. I've gone through my 4 years apprenticeships back in the day. So I'm a
Did you?
Trained...
So how did you end up working for VitrA? Well, when did you do your apprenticeship? Was it straight out of school, or what's the journey up to VitrA?
Yeah, so I left school approaching 16 years of age, and all I ever wanted to be was a plumber. Funny enough, because my grandfather was a plumber, and all I ever wanted to be was a plumber, and I got offered an apprenticeship with this company, and then when they wrote me the letter saying that they're giving me the apprenticeship, they actually told me it's going to be the YTS. It was the first time that the youth training scheme, that some people on here may well know.
Yeah.
But because he verbally offered it to me, he had to give me the full 4-year apprenticeship. And so I went to Reading Tech College, and it's fair to say, I done well. I represented the college after 3 years in a regional competition. I won that, and I got through to national finals. And there was an old show many years ago that used to be at the NEC in Birmingham called Interbuild. It's now KBB for one of it's how it's known.
I know KBB. Yeah,
those people there performing at Interbuild for every Tom, Dick, and Harry to come round and see me working for 4 days, and I finished 8th out of 12. That's
not bad, mate. Well done.
But then late 80s, early 90s. And it would have been about maybe early 90s when the first recession, as far as I know, it hit. Work on site just dried up more or less completely, and I got offered a job with a national merchant, which was Travis Perkins. Other national merchants are available.
Yeah.
And I was fast-tracked there through a management program, and then a few years later, I joined VitrA. I've been with VitrA now for 26 years.
Well, because you can see it from both sides, maybe you can answer Gaz Packer's question. He's just come up on the comments. He says, where are all the plumbers these days? I had to plumb my own kitchen after being let down by so many different people. Is there a good way to secure a plumber these days? Charles?
We could go on forever about plumbers and apprenticeships. I fully believe in apprenticeships big time, James.
Yeah.
Years ago, people were talking about we were going to have a shortfall because all the young kids at school were going into IT training,
and go to uni as well.
Exactly, but that didn't happen because we had a massive influx of tradesmen coming into the UK from Eastern European. They came here to work. Unfortunately, I think the biggest issue we have now is when Brexit came in, and I think it's happening with Brexit and COVID. A lot of this skilled labour, has gone abroad, has gone back home.
Yeah, a lot of them did go home, didn't they?
Or they've gone driving, which you can earn a good bit of money there as well. So we have got a massive shortage, and it's going to be, this is going to be a 10-year fix. I think it's going to take a long time.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think a lot of kids, especially when I remember when I was at school and I left secondary school in like year 2000, which still feels like not long ago, but now I think about it, it's 22 years ago, which is kind of worrying, but still feels like yesterday. But we were everyone was sort of funneled into going into doing sixth form and then just going off to uni. People weren't funneled into going and doing a trade. And I think there was a stigma as well. A lot of people thought that you'd earn more money at university. Because you went to university, you were probably just somehow more intelligent and all that sort of stuff. Whereas I don't think that's right or wrong. I think a lot of people have aptitudes for different things, don't they? And, some people probably went to university, should have gone and done a job with their hands and would have been really good at it.
But I'm sure if you go to the schools when I had these careers evenings for children that are leaving school, they are all really about going to university, because I think the schools, if I'm right in saying this, actually get paid for the amount of students they actually send to uni, whereas they don't actually if they send them into apprenticeships.
Yeah.
To the these careers evenings, they are trying to push children through that long-term education process, which is fine for an awful lot of children. But there are others that, like myself, apprenticeship suited me down to the ground.
Yeah.
It's what I always want to do. I like to think I was always good practically with my hands, and it sent me in the right direction, the right path. And it so happens when I went to TP, I then had the skills when it comes to the sales side of things. And I think that's what's held me in good stead now, because, I know a bit, and I do look at the plumber's side. Very quickly, James, I joined VitrA in 96. I went to Turkey in 1996. And we've always had wall-hung frames and concealed systems in Turkey. Mm-hmm. We only brought them into the UK 4.5 years ago because they were never good enough in my eyes to sell. And if I don't want one in myself, I wouldn't expect to sell it to someone else.
Yeah.
So we went through a journey of development with the factory to make sure they did what it needed to say on the tin. And since then we've done phenomenally well with them.
See, I'm getting a feeling that because we've been talking about Gaz Packer's answer all this time, he's going to win best question already, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's got to. You know what? Going back to the apprenticeships thing, it's funny. I met up with a couple of mates last night who I play cricket with, and one of them I haven't seen for quite a while, and he's a lot younger than us. And I said to him, how did you get on with your plumbing apprenticeship in the end? And he said, you know what, I did my 2-year MVQ and I couldn't get a placement, so now I'm doing landscaping, just like labouring. And it's like,
the waste, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is a waste, but there we go. Well, look, I'm just going to make sure. Oh, Darren, look at you reclining there. You're really settling. You're settling into the live stream nicely, aren't you? Tony Piper said the worst thing they did was get rid of the ITB. I don't even know what that is, Tony. What is the ITB, Darren? Have you heard of that?
I don't know.
Tony, elaborate in the comments. Well, look, maybe we should have a look at some of the questions from our very first video. So if we go back in time, we're just going to go and have a look at, so we scroll forward. Let's have a quick look at this VitrA beast here. So we're just going to go comp screen 2, and everything's working. Can you believe it? Darren, are you actually still moving?
You're boffing.
I know. It's well known that we have a lot of issues when it comes to technology on the Owl Army, but I think that is one of the things that endear people to it. So let's have a quick look and see what that last video was like. Just fine. So the first thing I'm going to do is I've got my 3/4 here to 15mm compression. Very simple. I use Loctite 55 thread. You'll be able to find this in our Amazon store as well. And we just crisscross that over a few times. Just like so, and then we wind that in to the valve body itself. Right, so I'm going to pause this now, Darren, okay, because I know for a fact that we did have a question about this particular bit. This was from Ben Green, and this was in the comments section, and he was actually asking us about the fact that you've got 3/4 BSP female irons coming out of the shower. And he kind of asked me, why am I reducing it down to 15mm? But I'd actually like to know, what was the thinking behind VitrA of having a nice large bore size? I'm not saying it's a bad thing at all. I think it's a really good thing.
Yeah, obviously, it's trying to ensure that you get the adequate flow rate going through into the valve to give you the right pressures that you actually, the volume of water that you actually need. Obviously, most people do plumb up a shower with 15mm copper pipe or plastic pipe, depending on what your preference is there. But depending on the pressures you have, it's getting the volume of water into the valve to give you the volume of water that you need to be able to drain yourself. So it does actually give you the flexibility to go bigger if you really, really felt there was a need to.
Yeah.
But to be honest, there isn't. But we try and think of these things, that how we can make things a little bit more bulletproof than others. I know we're here to talk about the valves tonight, but it's like with our wall hung frames. When we put our wall hung frames together, we actually put more fixings into the frames to give people the confidence that it does what it says on the tin. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do here. Just give people the option.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel that as well with the frames. I mean, I've fitted loads of them now. And I remember the one that we did at my studio. All the different ways that you can fit them to the wall and everything. Ease of access to the panel through the back of the infrared button. Also, the way it's fixed to those... if you've got a wall-hung version toilet, the way it's fixed onto those with those fixings is absolutely brilliant. I mean, going back to the valve, I think one of the things about having it as 3/4 inlets like that is that the good thing for me is that if I'm working on a system that maybe is gravity-fed and that doesn't have a huge head pressure, it's good to have those larger bore sizes so we can still just about deliver adequate flow. But at the same time, we're mainly working these days on pressurized systems, unvented cylinders with high flow rates. Well, I say high flow rates. My mate Josh, who I was filming with over the weekend, lives down in Worthing, and they get just about a bar of pressure where he lives, whereas where I am, it's 8 bar. So you have to put, everyone's got it a bit different. And in a way, that shows the differences in feeds that we have, and it's nice that you guys have thought about that with this particular product. I mean, going back to the video, and I'm just going to turn it down a bit now so you can't hear it so much. But as I'm tightening up this bit here, you can't quite see it. Maybe if we just go forward slightly in the vid. Let me have a little look. You've done some lovely things there that I really like putting on the red rubber on the side and the blue rubber, so we know what the inlets are.
Yeah.
And also something that, I mean, most companies don't even bother doing is putting that little spirit level on the front of it as well, just to make sure someone gets it level, which I really, really like.
It's simple things, James. It's simple things that just trying to make it a lot easier for people when it comes to the actual installation of the product. That's what we're trying to do here.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science, there's many people who have these sort of products in the marketplace. It's just trying to just give that little bit of a finishing touch.
Exactly. We have actually got a question. It's not a question in the comments here, but it might have something to do with you, Darren, because of all the driving you've done. But Chris Gunn was about to go down to Cornwall this weekend, but he can't get a tank of fuel.
Do you know?
We're not blaming you, Darren.
I was on 38 miles this afternoon when I had to put in the find somewhere. But
really?
I went to 2 garages and they're both queuing forever.
I bet.
I'm the most patient of people when it comes to something like that. So I just drive on and think, I'll find somewhere else. But it's I don't know what all the hassle is again about the fuel again at the moment. It's just everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, it's mad. Well, yeah. I mean, we could talk about that on another YouTube channel called, I don't know, Plumber Parts Politics. To be honest, actually, on the Al Army, when it's a normal one and we haven't got it live to it, the whole channel, we do, because everyone sort of knows each other on the Al Army. We do often have quite candid chats about what's going on in current affairs, but I don't think we'll do that today.
No, not tonight. But
there we go.
Bank holiday weekend and everyone needs to be relaxing, not worrying about what's happening in the world, my friend. That's for sure.
Exactly. There's enough bad things going on at the moment, isn't there? So there we go. Yeah. But we've got another question here. Well, I don't know. It's so this is from Jim Lee, and I think this is for me. He said, just about to do the foam trick with my pipes. And if we have a look a bit further along in the video, I mean, this is how you do stuff. I mean, foaming up your pipes is possibly one of the most satisfying parts to any of these jobs when you're doing like a recessed brickwork shower job. But he said, just about to do the foam trick with my pipes. Which one do you use? There appears to be 2 types, one for insulation and one for filling large gaps and voids. Well, what I'd say is you want to use a fixer foam, actually. So there are more than 2. There's actually quite a lot of different foams. You can get acoustic panel foam, stuff like that. So you want to use fixer foam. That is the one that I always use. You'll often see people who fit doors and windows use fixer foam rather than cement, which is probably what they used back in the day. We've got a question from Lennon Polo, who's just come in. This is going to be one for you, Darren. And it's a bit of a typo. He says, where are VitrA products made? I think you almost said earlier on where they're made.
We are a Turkish manufacturer, and we are by no means a small manufacturer. We produce just under 6 million pieces of ceramic a year, James. We're a big player in the world market, not just within the UK, but in the world market. 6 million pieces, that's a lot of toilets to have to make.
Yeah.
We make over 2 million taps a year. We're a global player, and what we sell our products on is on the quality, the design that we're able to offer into the marketplace. Yeah. But just going back to the videos a second ago, what I really liked about the video you've actually just shown now isn't anything like this. Is your makeshift extractor you had for removing the dust.
Should we have a look?
Why did someone come up with something like that previously?
I know. Brilliant. Let's have a look back at that. That was a particularly proud moment for me as well. So we're cutting the pipes here, and there it is, my extractor. Let's pop the sound up so we have a little listen. I did put it up on our YouTube shorts as well. So if you want to check out the build for this, you can find this in the shorts section on the YouTube channel. Well, it's not too dusty at all, is it? That is the way I'm always going to do it from now on. So the thing about that, there was necessity there, because the cameras that I used to film over the years, I mean, I started off with like a tiny camera, Darren, like, not a very good camera at all. I'd sort of reinvest any like little bits of money I had. I'd save up and get a bigger camera and stuff. And after a while, I've got to a stage where I've got a camera that I don't really want to get brick dust all over. So it was one of those, really. It's like, I'm going to do that. And also it's Thermalite as well, which for demonstration purposes is lovely because it's like butter, isn't it? So easy to cut. I could have used a brick that's local to here called Burwell White, which has its own its own sort of fearsome reputation for being incredibly hard. We've got a question here from Ransom M Magic. And I don't think this is anything to do with what we're actually talking about at the moment, but I'm sure we can quickly answer it, Darren, can't we?
Yeah,
there we go.
Go for it.
He said, I'm currently fitting a couple of new 15mm isolation valves under a bathroom sink in readiness to replace a manual tap with a sensor tap. The pipe is Qualplex, PTFE or not, on the olives and threads. I don't even know what Qualplex is. I don't think I've heard of it. Have you heard of it?
Was that like the one that came out at the same time as Hep 2O? These were the two original brands, weren't they, I think?
So I'm thinking if that's the case then... Oh, I don't know if you use... You know what? I'm not going to answer that, mate. If you want Ransom's Magic, I don't want to say anything that's wrong there, but what you could do is email us at info@plumberparts.co.uk. That'll give me a quick chance to actually look into look into that particular pipe work and that pipe type, and I'll be able to give you a proper answer there. Moving on to some of the other questions we've had here. I'm going to see if I've got a few. So this one's from Dan Pascoe, and I'm going to let you answer this one, Darren. He says, do you not need to flush the pipe work to prevent crud from blocking up filters? Also, it might be a good idea to have a little chat about filters as well.
Yeah.
So he's having a think. He's having a think.
No, sorry, you went a little bit quiet then.
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem at all. No problem at all. 100%. You know, when you put your first fix in, you know, you always need to make sure that the pipework is left clean afterwards, because the last thing you want is to get anything inside the actual shower valves themselves. You know, the showers are supplied with ceramic disc cartridges, which are brilliant. You know, but they last 10, 15 years if they're treated right. So you always want to make sure that you do flush your pipework out before you do the second fix, and you actually put the product truly into the wall. But obviously, then from that point of view, we also supply filters that you put on at that stage. So after you've cleaned it out, you put the filters on there to make sure that nothing can get within the actual shower valve itself.
Exactly. I'm sort of wondering now that I know you're a plumber, dare I say an ex-plumber, I don't know. What did you think of the pipe work?
No, it's lovely. Listen, James, you do a good job, don't you? And it's nice to be very proud of what you do as well. Seeing you polishing it all up after, rubbing it all down.
I'll get my Brasso out. My Brasso's always in there now. I was going to say, it's a good answer. I didn't want to end the live stream early, you know. If it had been the other way, I'd have been most upset.
Before we came on, I was going to tell you what I was going to answer you with some of your questions, but I didn't do it there, did I? I kept calm.
Well, we've had another question here from Lennon Polo. He said, are VitrA taps serviceable? So I imagine serviceable is a bit of a funny one for taps, because if you've just got a cartridge in them, then often that just needs to be changed, doesn't it? But have we got filters in any of the models of VitrA taps?
Well, obviously, but in this day and age, you've got to have isolating valves underneath the actual wash basin, haven't you? So you can isolate the water, and then from that point of view, it's very, very easy to remove the cartridges. You know, on the back of the tap reverse of the handle, you have a little Allen key that you undo. The handle pops off, and you have full access to the cartridge if you need it. You know, and our taps come with a good 7-year guarantee behind them, and then we keep spares here for our faucets, for our taps over 10 years. So if anyone has any problem, it's a simple enough job to be able to replace, James. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Seb Perkins says, James, give me mate Gaz Addy a shout out. He's just got qualified in the gas world, and it was his first week this week. He basically passed his gas plumbing course from my videos. How about that? So yeah, well done, Gaz Addy, if that is your name. Bit of a random name, Gaz Addy, but there we go. But well done for going into the trade, mate. We need.
Congratulations to you.
Yeah, congratulations. Especially some of the questions earlier on. I don't think you're going to be short of work, mate. Okay. Another one here is from Betster T. Said, talking of sensor taps, are they the future or just a gimmick for the home? I think that'd be nice as well. You don't have to say, because I know what companies are like when they've got new products coming out, and you have NDAs and all that sort of stuff. Is there anything coming up from VitrA on the sensor tap line?
Yeah, James, sensor taps were always very much a commercial. So you go into a service station or anything like that is where sensor taps are most prevalent and most popular. We have launched some sensor taps. We've recently launched a brand new complete range of ceramics, furniture, tiles, taps, accessories, designed by a gentleman called Tom Dixon, who some here may well know. And in there we have brought out some sensor taps which are for the home, because normally, more often than not, sensor taps are very commercial looking, but these products we brought out are very much for the home. They're aiming at that residential marketplace. It's bringing again something a little bit different to the marketplace, and testing the water to see whether it really does take off. But I can appreciate maybe in a downstairs cloakroom where you've got people coming into your home, where it may become a very useful product, because the world we're in now, what's been going on with COVID.
I knew you were going to say COVID.
But if people are afraid to touch anything, let's give you that option.
Maybe we should update the bidet thing so you don't have to touch anything when that happens either. That could be.
You don't. With you brought it up, but with our VCare toilets, we call them our VCare. The lid automatically opens when you approach it, and then on the controller you can press the controller, so the actual seat ring lifts up, so you don't have to touch your ring. Or you can do it from your phone. It has an app. You can do all of that from your phone as well. So,
see, that sounds great. I mean, I'm all for apps and stuff automatically opening, but I think you've missed an opportunity here for a toilet that opens and has dry ice in it and also a strobe light or something like that. And then maybe it says, "Tonight, Matthew, I will be," something like that. Yeah. Stars in their eyes, Lou.
You must have done that. Have you ever done that? I've done that on a train once. You know, when you sit on a train and they've got the toilets in the train and they're actually on a curved door. And I got one of my mates to actually me as it opened as I came out and say, "Tonight," and I actually stood there like they did. Yeah. I
was going to say, I hope you sort of finished what you were doing before the door opened. Oh dear. Well, look, we've got a few more here. I tell you what, this was a good one. This is from Harpreet Singh. He said, "Would liquid PTFE work on those threads too?" Now, I'm going to do a little bit of this. You can put your thoughts into this as well, Darren. Liquid PTFE is great, but you need to make sure that if you're going to use it, that you're not going to twist that fitting again. Yes. You don't want that to crack or anything like that. And also, but just personally for me, it's nice to do it, but I prefer to use Loctite. We all have our own thing that we like to use. Yeah, what about you, Darren?
I come from an era with my plumber, James, where it was PTFE, or actually started off with hemp.
Yeah, hemp and
that's why I used to put on it, if you remember, years and years and years ago. But PTFE, and obviously, like you say, the problem with liquid PTFE is once you've crimped it, that's it, isn't it? If you have to adjust it slightly and bring it back slightly, then the joint isn't necessarily always made as solid as it needs to be.
Yeah, that's why I like Loctite, because you get that solid watertight fitting, but you can it holds it in position really well. It's really good for outside taps, even though I've got a new thing now for outside taps. So I actually just solder the tap into the bib if I don't want it to be removed, especially if it's in a public place where, you know what people are like. The sort of people who take shots of themselves getting out of train toilets, probably the sort of people who undo bib taps and they're on a night out.
Where they come from, I don't know.
Well, look, so yeah, hopefully that's answered your question there, Harpreet. One of the other ones was I thought was quite funny. How did you stick your bricks together? CT1. Are you CT1 on that? So yeah, it's quite a good one. Well, look, let's have a look at our next video as well. Well, actually, you know what? Shall we have a very quick look at the finished product of that last video as well? So
yeah, I think
it's a beast, isn't it? Easy it was to get the box in, the little things that companies don't have to do, but VitrA have done here with a little level and all that sort of stuff. The cover plate as well to make sure that everything's covered up and nice and safe while you're doing all the installation process. Let's just turn it on and have a look. So look, let's bang on the pan head. Oh yeah! Look at that, how gorgeous is that? And let's pop on the handset. One thing I really love as well about the handset is that you've got sort of three. It's a beauty. You got it. No one has any idea how long those shots take to get. Well, there we go. No, it was a good one. So the next one we did after that as well was what I thought would be a good idea within this series was, and Gaz just said there, this is just an absolutely stunning product.
No, yeah. Good man. Thank you, Gaz.
Is that comment of the day? Is he going for comment of the day?
Yeah.
I'll leave it.
Anything what comment of the day's going to get, have you, eh?
Well, they're going to get a VitrA goodie bag. That's definitely what's coming your way. I don't actually know what's going to be in it.
No, nor do I at the moment, James.
Probably, hopefully, a couple of neck oils. Neck oil lager's quite nice. And look at that, VitrA bathrooms has just commented as well. Darren's just typed that with his toes. And this is multitasking at the best. He's on VitrA bathrooms at the moment as well. So anyway, as part of the video series, I decided it would be a good idea is to show you the different ways that you can fit recessed showers in different particular settings. And so that's what we did with this one here. By the way, I want to ask you guys as viewers, so this video here has got nearly 14,000 views, and I put chapters in it. So if we actually look at the video itself, the hot. Oh, I'm just going to pop that on for you guys now. So if you look along the bottom here, you can see my mouse scrolling along the bottom. I just want to know as viewers, do you find the use of chapters helps your understanding of the video, the product, the processes that we go through when we're doing these sorts of jobs? Does it help you understand, you know, what we're trying to convey about VitrA's products as well? So let us know in the comments. That'd be really nice to know. Or do you think they're a complete pain in the bum and you never want to see them again? Let's hope it's not that, Darren.
I hope so, yeah.
Yeah. But no, this is a really, I mean, one thing I really, tell you what, while I was doing this, I listened to a really good podcast. Do you like podcasts, Darren?
I do, yeah.
You know what? It's not my type of thing actually, but it was a bit of a ghostly podcast. It was by the BBC, and honestly, it's not my cup of tea. It was called, oh my God, it's one of those things there. It's an anecdote I halfway thought through and forgot the name of it. Oh, it's called Uncanny. That's it, on BBC. So that's what I listened to while I was doing this job. So
You know what I've been listening to, James, is Joe Marler. I don't know Joe Marler, the rugby player.
yes, I have Joe. Yeah, I haven't met Joe Marler, but I've met quite a few rugby players. But yeah,
Podcast. So he's talking to a cyclist. He talks to someone who makes ice cream.
yeah.
He talks to people who make roller coasters. You think because he's a sportsman, who's sport, but it's so entertaining to listen to.
You know what? I think tradesmen in general do all listen to podcasts. So because it's not, well, either that or absolute 80s.
Yeah,
I tell you what, I do actually have a podcast, but I don't know if I'm going to say what it is here because it's not about plumbing. It's more about current affairs and politics. But we've done some good interviews. Yeah, we'll pass on that. But anyway, so yeah, this video here wanted to show how to fit this into. Oh, well, I'm going to go back. We sort of pop back a bit and show the valve actually being installed. Here we go. Let's have a look at this. Right, so the route to a good fixing is a nice little bit of studdy-waddy woo-woo. Yes, that is English for bit of wood. Next thing I'm going to do is just draw an arrow so we know which bit is going upwards, yeah? I'm going to measure across roughly 18 centimetres, which is our meeting point. I've got the centre on there now. And then we know exactly. So I think what I try to do with these videos is I want people to learn little tricks and tips and bits and bobs along the way as well about how to do the job. But also, incidentally, we kind of learn about the product as well, especially in the unboxing, Darren. One thing I really like about VitrA stuff as well that a lot of people don't care about, and I think the unboxing always shows, is how well packaged everything is. And that's not like a gimmicky thing to make it look cool. It's actually really important. So well done.
Because these are polished surfaces, so you need to protect them. You know, you can't just do anything with them because you end scratching it very, very easy. And of course, then it doesn't look good when it comes to your own bathroom at the end of it. So we always try and make sure the product is packaged well. And so it represents, it shows value to your customers. You know, if you go into a customer's house and you open up something like that, it looks like what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah, I think it speaks for itself, the fact that the last valve that I did, which we'll come to in a minute, and actually Matt Marciniak, I think, has commented, he said he prefers external shower valves because he doesn't like when internal valves go wrong. And Matt, we've done a video on that. We're going to look at that in a few minutes' time. But all the special covers for the pan head and also the bar valve, I've kept because I can use them to polish pipes and stuff like that. So it's all those little things that you sort of end up having in your bag, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah. But again, you just mentioned about concealed valves or exposed valves. I fully appreciate the comment that someone's made. But, if something does go wrong with the valve, you have full access into the product from the plate of the actual product. So you can remove the plate and you have full access to everything. So you don't have to get behind the wall if something goes wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so
it's personal choice. It's personal choice.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people as well will say that they don't like to have compression fittings in a wall, but that is kind of the nature of the beast sometimes. You've just got to do it, haven't you? And if you're good enough at your job, you'll compound them, you'll joint and compound them, you'll do it properly, you'll pressure test beforehand, you shouldn't have a problem after that.
Yeah, in your own ability. Exactly right, yeah.
Well, and also planning. I mean, what we've done in this particular video here is we've planned out this particular way. Oh, no, it's not in this. Oh, it's in the next video. Oh, God, we'll come to it in a minute. But yeah, we'll talk about it in a sec. But it's just like the way that we did the pipes on the bar shower. But we'll come to that in a minute. One thing Lennon Polo's asked, he says, how does VitrA cope with hard water? So I think this is particularly important with thermostatic valves, whether their movement can get rid of limescale, things like that. Have you got anything to tell us about that?
Yeah, but no, it's exactly what you say, James. I think the case is that's obviously when you are using the best thing to do, because, in the UK, we do have hard water. In Oxfordshire, where I live, it's extremely hard. And so it is the case of just once in a blue moon sort of thing, tweaking the valve, because quite often you set a temperature and you just leave it. But the best thing is to play with it a little bit every now and again, so it does free it up, so it doesn't stick in position. That's what I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and also I always recommend install a water softener. as well.
if you can.
I mean, they are just amazing. So there we go. We've actually got quite.
Just one thing, James, just one thing on this and the valve that you're actually going to show now. One thing which I think is we don't talk about at VitrA is if you look at our actual product, it's square. So our built-in shower valve you see here is actually square in shape. Now you fitted this, I think, onto some paneling, but if you're tiling, having a square tile to cut is so much easier than lots of the other valves in the marketplace, which are circular.
Yeah.
So when you're cutting into the tiles into this particular product, I think that's a reason we've done it square again. Because I'm an ex-plumber. I think about these things.
Yeah, you want it done. Yeah, so annoying if you've got any kind of curve to do. The amount of tiny little cuts you have to do to make that whole curve actually happen. It's an absolute nightmare. By the way, Sarah's just used her AL Army emoji, which is nice to see. Sean Grinstead said, "Can you please go back to the old wall-hung toilet fixings and these stupid Fisher Click ones?" Oh, Sean, do you mean the little red one? I really like those. I suppose everyone's got their own way of doing things. One thing I've learnt to do is a little trick is if you are using the clicker ones and you know you're going to, as soon as you unpack the toilet, just glue them onto the toilet with a bit of CT1 and you will thank me for it. That is a really good little tip there.
I take on board his comments. It's the thing what the hidden fixation does that we're talking about now, whether it be Fisher or another brand, is it enables you to give a completely clean look to the WC, but you don't have any recesses in the side of the product, so it looks a lot cleaner, a lot neater. We do have some toilets still within our range and some new toilets in our range. We still have the bolts on them if that's what you so require. But also you end up seeing that slot on either side of the toilet and it's not visually as nice to view.
Yeah, no, that's fine. A lot of the time we're making a trade-off between aesthetics and ergonomics and how it's all fitted, aren't we? So yeah, I suppose it's one of those things. But good question.
The product will still carry 400 kilos plus of weight on it anyway. So it does what it needs to do.
That's a lot of plumber parts.
Yeah.
I'm quite a long way off that. Come back in a few years' time, maybe. Oh, dearie me. Michael Lonsdale said in this video, he said, "Thanks, James. I've done similar from other brands and the VitrA concealed system too. It's nice to know I'm doing it the same. And the comment about taking your time to plan, I always feel like I'm taking too long working to the nearest millimetre." Now, what I like to say there is that I think if you're doing a job in a bathroom, it's one thing fitting out a boiler house, isn't it? Straight pipes and all the rest of it. But bathrooms, like someone a few weeks ago said to me they've been quoted for a new bathroom £15,000, and they asked me whether it was accurate or not. And I kind of was like, well, yeah, actually, it is getting to that stage. With inflation, but also if they care, they're going to be worth their money.
Exactly right. And it sounds like if he's taken that time, he's got a lot of pride in his work as well. So I shouldn't knock it for that at all.
Well, I did another video. I'm gonna blow my own trumpet here. Sorry, Darren. I did another video and I fitted the VitrA toilet in my bathroom, and I had to put a concealed tiled panel up with some metal trim on it. I'll send you a link to it so you can have a look. But it was very nice. That's all I'm going to say.
I'll take your word for it, James. Okay, nothing like blowing your own trumpet from time to time. Good on you.
Well, there we go. Josh Tappin, who's a member of the AL Army and also I film with quite a lot, he said, "I really like the finishes that you give." So generally, I think the last few videos that we've done, we've got kind of a copper, a matte black, and almost like a brush nickel finish. Any that I've missed on the different ranges?
Yeah, we have a rose gold as well, and we're looking at what other colours we can bring into the marketplace now as well. And I think the marketplace it was predominantly chrome up until maybe a few years ago, but particularly the blacks now and the nickels are really coming into trend and becoming more and more popular.
Yeah.
Predominantly in the south of England, it's emanating from London, but it is spreading out now. So we are, extending. So all of the new ranges we're bringing out to bring these colours in, and we are looking at some other colours. What else we can bring into the marketplace that's popular trend at this moment in time as well.
Oh, good.
Keep things fresh all the time. Keep things fresh.
Yeah, exactly. There's millions of people is there billions of people who live in the world? Can't remember, but there's it has to be billions. But and they've all got different likes and wants and all the rest of it. And in a way, you've got to sort of make an exception for all of those. Tony Pybus did just say the concealed tiled access to the toilet I installed was ace. So there's proof, Darren, that it was really good. Lennon Polo's also said, do VitrA do anything for disabled people? So do you do any disabled toilets yet or anything like that?
We do an awful lot, James. We do. And when you say disabled, many years ago, you had to take what was standard for them. But these people, these are people, these are human beings. It's not just being disabled; could be less able for whatever reason whatsoever. So we do a full portfolio of products. We don't just expect people to take, dare I say, the standard product. So we do create a full array of products to help to support that end of the marketplace as well. And it's just not limited to white or chrome. We do have other colours available to be able to help them to make so they can have a choice. Historically, they would never have a choice. They had to accept what was there.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Oh, sorry, my wife's just come up and pointed at her watch. Are we running over time, apparently? No, we're not running over time, are we, Darren? Deary me.
I think you're too slow at drinking your beer, James. I think that's...
Oh, yeah. Right, hold on. Let me just have a... So what we got here, let me just open it up. Listen to this, Darren. I know you've got 2 hours of driving before you can have your first beer. So just listen to this. Did you hear that? It was a very small hiss.
Yeah, that was lovely, James. Well done.
Shall I chug it? No. So what have we got? We've got authentic IBA, packed full of citrus, pineapple, and grapefruit flavours. Proper job is big, bold, and a strong beer with a crisp bitter finish. Lovely. And just listen to that glugging in there, Darren. Can you hear that? People are telling me to chug it, Darren. I don't think we should do that. I don't think
exactly. Yeah, that's what I was going to say as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it might go a bit south. Yeah, no, I really agree with you actually on the disabled. Or what was it? Oh, I can't remember what politically correct term there is for it these days. But
less able, but also, James, you can call it adaptive living. You know, and we come back to really what we started at the very beginning here when it comes to our washlet toilets or our VCare toilets. These things are for every generation, they're multi-generational. Any age can use them. But if you are, getting a little bit long in the tooth, dare I say, these days, and you've got to start thinking about future-proofing your home.
Yeah.
In time to come, you may not be as able now as you will be maybe 3 or 4 years' time. And by putting one of these bidet toilets in, you're covering more bases in the eventuality. Unfortunately, when you get old, things get harder. And this takes that pressure away from you.
Well, I definitely find a lot of the jobs I do for sort of more elderly clients are taking out their baths and putting in large 1700 by sort of 750 or 800 shower trays and enclosures. Does VitrA have anything on the market in the way of shower trays as well?
No, that's something we don't bring in. We don't do glass, James. But we don't do any shower cubicles or screens. But you're saying that we are building a factory at this moment in time as well.
Okay.
So what makes it will come out. As I said, we do everything else for the bathroom except glass. But we are working on it in the next 3 to 4 years. I think you'll find there'll be a full range coming out from us as well there as well.
Well, and Betster T just asked, do VitrA do bathtubs?
Yes. Yeah. Full range of acrylic bathtubs. Yeah, again, multiple sizes, multiple shapes. The marketplace is there. We do make over 250,000 bathtubs a year. So yeah, it's a big market, James. Even though, as you mentioned, lots of people now are ripping out their baths and putting wet rooms in or large shower trays. There's still a need for bathtubs.
Yeah.
We're very very strong with developers, new builds, and you still have to put a bathtub in those houses.
Yeah, exactly. No, well, look, what we're going to do is we're going to have another look at. Oh, this one I wanted to address. This is from Matt Bandura. It said, looks like a proper sponsored advert video.
Yeah, and no beating about the bush.
No, I mean, I'm perfectly transparent about it.
Yeah, but ultimately, if you didn't like the product, you wouldn't do it, because it's what you have here is you have your brand here as well.
Yeah, and I only ever I think the products that I don't put in the videos kind of speak for themselves. So if the products are in my videos, they're the ones that I want to work with, and they're the ones that I work with in general anyway.
You've fitted these products in your own house as well.
Yeah, I mean, that always speaks volumes when you've done that. So,
but I appreciate these comments. It is no beating about the bush, but again, you would put it in your own house if it didn't do what it says on the tin.
Exactly. One of the guys asked as well if you guys do samples, and it's amazing, Darren, that you actually typed with your toes that yes, VitrA do samples with their brassware ceramic furniture as well. So that's really cool. So Paul Ashby said he's just looking for a decent plumber, but I don't think we can help him with that one at the moment. We also got a comment on this video from Skill Builder. So I'm sure you guys know of Skill Builder, Roger Bisbee over at Skill Builder. Yeah. So Roger watched it. He said, good lad, now have the rest of the weekend off. I don't know if he's talking to you or me there, Darren.
Well, actually, I've got next week off as well, James. Because it's half term. My wife works in a school, so I've got all of next week off as well.
Oh,
so,
brilliant.
Yeah, a nice break after this.
Great stuff. Well, look, let's have a look at the next video. And this is, I love, one thing, well, about the last video that we were looking at, hopefully the thing that people took away from it more than anything else was the fact that we wanted to show you how to put that big, lovely plywood plate in. So you could, so it gives you the opportunity to make sure that your valve is straight, flat, and you've got something really good to install it on when you do that timber wall bit. There's a couple of good suggestions from people as well, saying that if you could have an access panel at the back, or push an old wardrobe up at the back or something like that, then that'd be a really good idea. But anyway, let's have a look at the next video and the last video in this particular series. And this was with the AquaHeat Bliss. What an absolute beast! Now, remember what I was saying about the packaging? Like, check out the packaging on this. Let's hope it loads up. Okay, here you go. Shower hose under there, handset, and also a riser clamp for our handset. If we have a look at the wall plate, great packaging. Just take the fascia off, and then underneath that, you'll see that we have a 15mm olive that sits into the taper. And that's a really traditional way there, guys, for these particular bar showers to work. And Dan, I'm hoping you you kind of picked up on the fact you've probably fitted loads of these in your career as well. So if you guys if anyone's just joined the live stream, Darren is not only a man of the VitrA, I suppose, what would you call it? A man of the VitrA? But also a fully qualified plumber as well. So, he's got double knowledge. I think that's the best way of putting it. But the bit that I really liked showing people on this was showing people how to get this homemade DIY shower valve built up. So, Darren, have you done it like this, or do you have any other sort of ways of doing it?
No, I think what you've shown there, James, is a good way. And I think, not blowing your own trumpet, you can blow that strong enough yourself.
Thank you.
But I think what you've tried to show here, you have replicated. And I think the video does give a lot of guidance to those people who are installing it for the first time as well. And I think you've done a superb job at what you're trying to replicate there. And like you say, by putting the fixing in the wall like you have done, you are able to give it that nice, solid foundation that the product needs to be able to mount it to the wall. I'd almost go as far as saying, if you were going to fit one of these on a brick wall, I'd actually think maybe you could chase out the brick, so you didn't have to worry about using like plugs. What it's like when you're drilling into like brick, and it's only about 10mm off the side of a chase, and then the brick sort of falls in, doesn't it? And you're like, oh no, I can't get a plug in there now. All that sort of stuff. But well, we've got a few ones on here. So how do you adjust the thermostat, shower mixer, child safety setting? So he's saying not warm enough. So imagine did we have that? I'm not sure they're 100% referring to the AquaHeat Bliss here, but do we have a full like safety setting for children? The eco setting maybe is probably what they're referring to. Yeah, obviously every product is, they all have thermostatic cartridges in, James. I'm sure everyone and most of your listeners hopefully will understand that as well. And they're all set to a maximum of 38 degrees. You do have an override button. So if you need it to get hotter, you push the button in, and it's not, and it's a button which is, you need to give it a little bit of force as well. And then you can override it to adjust the temperature to make it hotter if you so desire. Yeah, I call that the Emily button, because Emily has ridiculously hot showers. I don't know if it's just a woman thing, but she does tend to have, like, I think she might be made of asbestos, the amount of heat she can take in a shower. Yeah. But no, that's what the thermostatic element's there for. It's for that safety lock, whether it be for children or whether it be for, unfortunately, people are less able or disabled in some way. It does give you that, that protection. So that's what they're all about. Okay. Lennon Polo's asked another question. He's doing seriously well tonight on the questions, Lennon Polo. Getting some good ones in. He said, do VitrA do specialised cleaning products to clean hard water marks on the steel or metals? I'm not sure. Well, I'd be surprised if you did. Put it that way. We don't change. No, we don't supply anything like that. But obviously, the best thing is if it's cleaned regularly, wiped down with a damp cloth is the best recommendation you can ever give without using any caustic. Yeah, there are some cleaners out there, but if you do spray anything caustic on it, make sure you do rinse it off straight away. Okay, yeah. Also, you could probably, if you are going to use a cleaning bit on there, it might be a good idea that just try and put some of it on the bottom of the valve where you're not going to see it. Test it on there first, just to make sure. What is it? Test it in an inconspicuous area. Yeah. Do it like that. Yeah. So anti-Skull Tech. This is from D. Christov, I think.
It says anti-scald tech. He thinks that you routed the internal channels for the cold water to go around the entire body to make sure the hot water. Basically, they're saying you're using the cold on the outside of the valve so it doesn't get hot. Is that how you're doing it?
It is exactly right, James. Because I moved into a new house a couple of years ago now, and I've got some shower valves in there, and unfortunately, it doesn't have this technology that we've used here. So if you actually touch the body of the valve whilst you're in the shower, it is boiling hot.
Yeah.
It's hot water. So what we do is we do route the cold around the outside so that the actual valve of the product doesn't get hot at all. And so which is, it's peace of mind, especially if you've got young children or anything like that using the shower.
I was very pleased, actually, that I had my thermal camera so we can actually demonstrate that properly. Oh, let's have a quick look, shall we? We've got to have a look, haven't we? Here we go. So,
But these things just make sense.
Yeah, they do. You're right. I mean, little things like that, which is okay, probably quite a major thing to do to change a design so that can work like that and everything. But yeah, it does make sense. You know what? It's one of those things like having a nice pan head over the top like that off a bar mixer, especially when they look like that. That is such a nice finish on that shower. I absolutely loved it. And the head on there as well. You don't often get pan heads that have changeable spray patterns like that.
Yeah. So it's both on the pan head and also on the handheld shower as well. You can change your patterns if you so require from there as well.
Yeah. No, really good. And something that's kind of hard to convey as well in the videos is kind of like the clicking. Everything clicks in a nice way. Everything's got that nice sort of solid feeling. Well made. It's just one of those. It is one of those.
And there is something about that click noise which is very assertive and gives you confidence.
Yeah.
That click, it's like old school, when your grandparents or whoever used to have a mirror and used to have the click in the mirror. It's old school. Something about it gives you that assertive feeling.
Yeah, it's almost why they have the vibration thing when you tap on something on an iPhone or something like that, isn't it? You have to sort of feel like it's doing something, But there you go. No, really good. Someone says, should I get naked to use the shower after to show the customer that it washes you properly? What do you think, Darren? Have you ever done that?
I think it depends on how many beers you chuck, Jane, because I don't think you drank on your back for an hour.
Well, I know, but, we're chatting. I did have dinner beforehand, though, so I'm not at risk of having one pint and becoming all weird, which does happen sometimes. But there you go. We've had so many good questions on here. So here's one. Here we go. This is a good one. And you typed a reply to this as well, actually, Darren. He said, are these showers any good? Now, I'm expecting you to say yes. Or does the chrome rust? So what's the word there?
No, of course it doesn't. Of course it doesn't rust. The actual body of the products are made of brass, solid brass. And then you have the chrome plating over the top. So there's no way that the product could ever rust. If the product is abused in some way, then dare I say, then it could tarnish, and because the chrome could some tarnish in some way. But again, if a product, anything goes wrong with the product, it's got a 7-year guarantee behind the product. And even, if something does go wrong, we can supply spare parts. And if we can't in that time, the spare part will supply the product free of charge as a replacement if it was down to a genuine manufacturing fault.
What are the routes for people if they need to get hold of you because maybe they've got a problem with a cartridge or, let's face it, we live in a real world of real things happening. Things go wrong sometimes. What's the best way for people to get hold of you guys?
James, we have we have an email address, aftersales@vitra.co.uk, if anybody ever has an issue. And these things happen. But, James, I joined VitrA, I said earlier on, 26 years ago. And one of the things I learned from my MD when I joined VitrA UK is he said, Darren, we make mistakes and things go wrong. But what we're good at is we're good at putting them right. And I think that's how a lot of companies are judged in the marketplace. And I think as long as you can do whatever you can to put the customer's mind at ease if they have got a problem, because when they come onto VitrA, they've got a problem. And what we try and do is we try and solve that problem as soon as we can to make it a good experience for them. So hopefully, if they do have an issue, they can talk to their neighbour and say, that thing I've had from VitrA, I've had a problem, but they were bloody good at putting it right for me. Yeah,
I definitely feel like any customer I've used when it comes to plumbing, cameras, even the, I don't know, hotel or whatever, if they can still behave properly and help you out and sort you out when something goes wrong, then that is a real good mark. Mojo03. Oh, sorry, Darren, carry on.
I'm saying you have to these days because social media now, you can have access to anything and you can do anything.
Yeah.
So lot of pressure on these people. A good example, actually, if I don't mind me talking for just a second, I went to a Rick Stein restaurant a couple of years ago.
Is this in Padstow? Is it the Padstow one?
No, I've been to the one in Winchester 3 or 4 times, and one in Poole as well. But I was taking my sister and her partner for a birthday present, and I booked a table at 8 o'clock. We turned up at 8. The table wasn't ready. Do you mind? No problem at all. Sit down and have a drink. We sat and had a drink. People were coming in, and they were seating them straight away, and they left us sitting in the chair. Anyway, about 20 minutes later, they realised they'd left us. They came and apologised, said, have a drink on us. We had a drink, sat on our table. We had our meal. We ordered a couple of bottles of wine. When we paid for the meal, all the drinks all night were free.
Oh, that's good, isn't it?
And I think what that goes to show is that's the power of social media, that you can't have a bad experience because it can be highlighted into the world marketplace now. That's why we do what we do, to try and give people a good experience.
Yeah, no, that's a good call. You know what? A similar sort of story. I was lucky enough to be in Barbados about, I don't know, 8 or 9 years ago, watching England play in a test match that unfortunately only lasted 3 days, but that's by the by. Went to this lovely cocktail restaurant, and on the first night of a 3-week holiday, left them a brilliant review about their cocktails on TripAdvisor. And for the rest of the holiday, we just got free cocktails for the next 3 weeks, you know. Yeah. So, you know, I always think if you've got something bad to say it to the person personally. I don't really like leaving people shitty reviews. I much prefer just sort of go up to someone quietly and say, excuse me, it's not been great tonight. I hate people that kick off and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, look, let's end on. We've got 2 questions here. And one of them, where has it gone? Okay, so we've got 2 questions here. So we've got, number 1, how many showrooms are there in the UK? And also possibly a daft question, and this is from Mojo031. He says, possibly a daft question, but do VitrA sell direct to DIY customers or only to the trade? So how many showrooms have you got, and where can these people buy VitrA products?
We have, within the UK, we have over 2,000 outlets for VitrA as a product, as a distribution point. We do have what we call our showrooms of excellence, which we have around about 200 in the UK, which are, really strong, dedicated VitrA dealers who are putting, a minimum of 5 or 6 settings on display. We also have, I mentioned earlier, we have our own VitrA London showroom in Clerkenwell in London, which has been open for a year now, which does extremely well and has most of our products on display. So, you can get hold of our products from an awful lot of places. But if you go onto our website, vitra.co.uk, there is a showroom locator. So if you put your postcode in, it will actually direct you to your nearest 5 or 6 in your area.
Are you typing that in at the moment with your toes to pop into the comment section?
Yeah.
I'm sure you are. There'll be a clickable link showing up in a minute.
Yeah. But the other question you just asked as well, do we sell direct? We don't sell direct. No, everything goes through retailers, through merchants, and that's a channel that we've chosen to go through, and it's one that's seen us, go from strength to strength. We've doubled the turnover in the UK within the last 8 years, so I think we're doing things right, and we're there to support everyone, whether it be the consumer, the end user, a plumber, an installer. And, and the reason we're working with yourself and doing what we're doing with you, James, because we really want to engage with the installers. I told you, I'm a plumber at heart. We want the installers to try and understand how good these products are and what we can do for them.
Yeah, and that's good. Hopefully that's happening. I mean, we do have a big, broad spectrum of people who watch Plumber Parts videos, everything from the DIY enthusiasts, the apprentice, the architects, the installers, and some people who are just interested in plumbing as well. So hopefully you've found a few people, and hopefully we've had a lot of people watch tonight. And I'd like to say thank you to everyone who's come along to watch this evening, and also thank you to everyone who watches this in the future as well. So hopefully this should still be up on YouTube for you to watch back. I think, Darren, we're going to have to ask you now, have you made a decision who's done the best question of the evening? Have you made a decision?
Oh, I haven't, but I'm sure we can find someone, James, that we can send a little goodie bag to, just to appreciate for all the comments and questions they've been checking at us. So.
Well, I'm feeling Lennon Polo. I think Lennon Polo's been really good tonight. There's been a lot of really good questions that I think probably answered some things that we didn't answer in the videos themselves, actually. Okay.
Well, if he'd like to pop an email to us, to VitrA, or whether he does to yourself, James, then we can organise a little goodie bag, like I said, to someone like that. Yeah, to him.
Okay. All right, so Lennon Polo, you've won the VitrA goodie bag tonight. If you can send us an email to info@plumberparts.co.uk, that'd be absolutely brilliant. Also, what was that website where they can find your stuff again, Darren?
www.vitra.co.uk, and on that website you'll see a showroom locator. You post your post in and it'll direct you there. Simple.
Okay, brilliant. So Darren, have a great weekend, mate. Have a lovely. I don't think Eleanor, your daughter's watching anymore. I've got a feeling she hasn't commented in a while.
My mum, she sent me a couple of WhatsApp messages, my friend. So I don't. But she was driving back from Bristol. She's been to Bristol for the day today with my wife doing a bit of shopping.
Oh, okay.
Done well if she's listened all the way.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Well, have a great weekend, mate, and thanks ever so much for popping along. And give us 3 rings when you get to wherever you're going after your 2-hour drive. Like that's what my nan used to say.
Yeah, all right, James. I appreciate everything. I appreciate everyone that's come online to listen to us this evening. I hope they found it enjoyable, and I appreciate your support and your ongoing support, my friend. Thank you very much indeed.
Cool. See you soon, mate. Pop the old mute button on now, and I'll see you soon. All right. Have fun, man.
Thank you to everyone.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. See you soon. Bye. So there you go, guys. Darren's a lovely old boy, isn't he? Look at that. What a great few minutes that we've had there, chit-chatting away. Hopefully we've sort of answered some of your questions there. Sorry for any of the guys who didn't get their questions answered. And also, if you look at the amount of comments that we've had, 3 vast amounts of comments here, we just sort of picked out the ones that I thought would be the most pointed, proper ones. If you want to join the Owl Army and be on these live streams on a Thursday evening, click the join button below. It's a very small amount of money a month that funds my slight weekend habit that I have, which is called the pub. So if you want to do that, it'd be absolutely brilliant. We're seeing the Owl Army next Thursday, everyone. So click on that. We should have a video out on Saturday as well, with any luck. But until then, I think you all know what I'm going to say now. Let's hold tight. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you all very soon. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.